Good morning and welcome to Out from the Cube. It is actually, I think, our very first Saturday morning episode that we've recorded for Out from the Cube. So a few things to go over. If you want to know why we're doing a Saturday episode, is I'm doing what is called a Summer 60. It is a competition I'm running with my family, with my two kids, and with some friends and some people that have reached out to me on LinkedIn that have heard me talk about the Summer 60, which is essentially me doing 5 things every day for 60 days and being 60 days because that is how many days are in the summer for my children. So between all of June, which is 30 days, and July, which is 31 days, and the Summer 60, which is really a Summer 61, but they don't start until August 7th, so it's really the Summer 68. But we just kind of went with Summer 60. So I think now we're 7 days completed, and this is the 8th day where I've got to do 5 things every day, and as do my children. So at this point, it's 9:30 on a Saturday morning, and I've done 2 things so far. This will make the 3rd thing, and the rest of it is, I believe, exercise and doing some things agile related that I do as well. So that is our Summer 60. I'll probably say that every time that we do these, but I've got to do 60 episodes in 60 days. And I believe this is episode 4, even though we're 8 or so days into June. I started a little late with this thing. So that is what we're doing. The other thing I want to bring up is yesterday or late last evening, I completed, which was really stupid of me because it took me so long to complete, all I had to do was verify an email address, but for some reason couldn't bring myself to click the button. But I have verified an email address, and now outfromthecube.com is live and going. It is very elementary at this point, but it does have some blogs that we posted. It has all our episodes of our podcast. It has YouTube videos. It's going to have information about the guests that we've had on. It's going to have a resources or handout section of things that I post on Twitter and LinkedIn and the notes that I take. So there's actually, I'm super excited about outfromthecube.com. Please go there. I'm going to be posting that as a place where you can go get our content and get our episodes, as opposed to maybe Anchor or whatever it might be. It is all run through SoundCloud, is where I post our episodes on SoundCloud, and I also post them on anchor.fm. But essentially Anchor allows it to be distributed. So you should not have to change how you consume our podcast, but we're trying to up our game a little bit. So outfromthecube.com is open for business. So this just happened this morning when I did get up this morning, and I did spend some time reading. Excuse me. And I did spend some time consuming podcasts, and really, actually, you just got to figure out every day where your juice comes from, right? You really got to figure out what kind of uplifts you and whatever that is, right? I'll tell you what mine is. And you've heard this before, but I love to get up. I'm now water intake. What I've read about successful people or healthy people is that they consume a ton of water. So as goofy as that sounds, as something I'm doing every day, it is. When I wake up, I'm like, man, okay, I'm going to knock this out. And it's kind of one of our goals for the Summer 60. But I love sitting down after that. I love to sit down with coffee, and I love to just consume podcasts. I love it. I love to sit there. I love to open up YouTube. I love to see what people have posted. And I do listen to probably 10 people not every day, but the same 10 people over and over again until I find somebody new. And I did find somebody new this week, and that person was Jay Shetty. So I was on a Jay Shetty YouTube video of him interviewing David Goggins. And you should know about David Goggins if you've listened to me at any point. There's a few people that I quote over and over again, but Goggins is just phenomenal. And really enjoyed his perspective on some things to this morning. And this is not where I'm going to go with this. But essentially he said this: no one is coming. And I take that as saying, hey, the boats aren't coming. You're on this side. Hey, the boats aren't coming. And this is what he said: no one is coming. You got to fix your own shit. Fix it. Because a lot of us are sitting around waiting for someone to come and fix us, or to get us going, or to motivate us, or to inspire. Like, hey, at some point it's on you. That's exactly what he said. No one is coming. You got to fix your own shit. It's all on you. And I wrote that down. I was like, man, that's pretty good, man. And then that followed up with another episode from Gary Vee this morning where he said, someone just like you has the same problems as you and came from the same situation as you. Now, I understand every situation's a little different, but somebody came from an abusive relationship. Somebody came from an abusive household. Somebody came from the inner city. Somebody came from no education. Somebody came that didn't go to college. Somebody came that has 4 or 5 marriages. Like, somebody's done all that. And somebody's kicked ass at it, at their life, in spite of their circumstances. So Gary Vee says this: someone just like you with your problems has made it. And that means all your excuses are gone. You can't use them anymore because somebody else has done it, right? And that just resonates with me. And some of the people in my life, some of the people I work with, some of the teams that I'm on, whatever it is, right? Like we can't continue to, like, at some point we've just got to I say that with some, I guess, trepidation, because I know people got issues, and I'm not trying to just dismiss that or diminish the impact that has on people. I understand it. But, you know, people have overcome things, and people have been successful, and people are crushing it, and people deal with heavy shit. So I wrote that down today, but this is where I wanted to go today. We only have 15, 20 minutes. I'm trying to keep the Summer 60 podcast shorter. So I woke up this morning, did my podcast stuff, drank a whole bunch of water, drank some coffee, listened to some podcasts, did some reading, like really juiced up about the day. That's how I set the table for the day. And I know it's just going to kick ass from here on out. But then there's a summer basketball. There's summer basketball going on at the high school across the street. My kids are really young. They're not with me this weekend. We're a split family. They're with their mother. And my girlfriend's out of town. So it's just me. So I was like, shit, I'm going to go across the street and watch basketball. So I grabbed my cup of coffee, went across the street and started watching basketball, watched varsity basketball, and then watched a JV game. Okay. And know some of the kids that are now on the JV team, and some of them I have coached. And I'm sitting there with a parent, and the parent says, George, how do you work with somebody that is a perfectionist? And I thought that was an interesting question. And my initial thought when I hear questions like that are, you know, my own kids, the teams I work with professionally, the kids that I may work with, basketball related, but how do you work with somebody that's a perfectionist? And then she said this, which I really liked. My kid is such a perfectionist that he's afraid of making mistakes. And that had me thinking further. And I just looked at her and I said, I don't have a great answer for that. And I still don't. But my only rebuttal to that was this. I wish my kid was a perfectionist. I wish my kid was a perfectionist in the way that if he was shooting baskets, or if he was doing math, or if he was doing something and it wasn't perfect, that he was in the driveway shooting until it was perfect. That he would just shoot and shoot and shoot. Or a professional person would just like, hey, I'm going to do this till it's right, till it's right, till it's right. You know, the good is the enemy of great. Like, hey, like, I'm be honest, like very transparent. Sometimes my good enough is good enough. But good is the enemy of great. Like, you know, I wish that I was just that level of a perfectionist. I'm reading a great book right now called Strength-Based Leadership. And it's essentially now the second half of this book is going through the characteristics of kind of that strengths finder deal, where there's all these different attributes on people. And one of them was like the achiever. Like, there are people that are just achievers, but it's also that perfectionist where it's just, I'm going to work and work and work and work and grind and grind. And I don't care how many hours it takes. My opinion of myself and how I feel about myself and the value that I bring to a company is based on getting things done, and the achiever, and feeling good when things are done and all that, right? And being a perfectionist that it's done correctly, right? So I kind of told her, my mind initially went to, man, that would be great to have with my children or some of the teams that I work with, right? Or just really kind of focusing in on my own kids, because we were talking about basketball and kids. It's like, yeah, that'd be perfect. But then she followed up with, my kid is afraid to fail, right? So he's always kind of on that line of where it's perfect, and I'm perfect, and I'm not making mistakes, and things are good, and I'm not failing. Cool, right? Like, really cool. but also my kid's not getting better, right? He's he doesn't shine. Like, he's not taking the risk. He's not getting out of his comfort zone. He's not doing things he's not comfortable with, which is, we want him to fail. And so that had me thinking this, and how that, I love those conversations. And I wish I would have had a great answer for it. But then I pivoted to this. Sarah Blakely, you may know. Sarah Blakely is the wife of Jesse Itzler. If you have listened to my podcast, you know that I am a big, big fan of Jesse Itzler. I have his book still right next to me for those that are watching on YouTube, because now with my outfromthecube.com up, we're going to be posting YouTube videos more. But this book, Living with Monks by Jesse Itzler, like, I'm super inspired by Jesse Itzler, super inspired by him. And his wife is Sarah Blakely. Like, Itzler may be worth, 50 million. I have no idea. He could be worth 100 million. No idea. But I know he's not worth $1 billion, and his wife is. So Sarah Blakely's a billionaire with a B. She started a company that apparently all women know about. I didn't, called Spanx, right? And so she started this company, Spanx. She's a billionaire. She had all sorts of failures. She would talk about somebody that gets out of your comfort zone, right? I actually, in my notes here, have it open to a top 10 list that she put together, or that was put together about her and her successes. But this is one thing she said, and I said it to a friend of mine that was talking with this morning. I said to her, I gave her the background on who Sarah Blakely is, and she said and Sarah Blakely said, when she grew up, when they were around the dinner table, her dad always asked every day, Sarah, what did you fail at today? Oh, well, I got cut from the basketball team, or I, missed 20 shots in a row. And the dad would essentially high five her, tell her great job, high five her, make her feel good about it, and all that. And she said that mindset, that upbringing, that celebrating failure led her to become a billionaire, right? That her dad celebrated failure with her and made her believe and made her think and created the mindset on her that it's okay to fail. It's okay to mess up, because that is where our growth is. Instead of always, now listen, I've got 2 young kids, and I love making them feel good when they do great things. I love, so a podcast we had 100 episodes ago with a lady, and she said, you are what you celebrate. You are what you celebrate. And I wrote that down. So yes, when my kids do great, a year or so ago, I'll still bring it up to my son, my oldest son. A year or so ago, we played a team here in St. Louis that hadn't lost basketball games in 2 years, and we beat them, and we beat them good. And my son had 3 3-pointers in the second half to put us over the top. And I still pat him. I'm like, remember when you did that? Remember how awesome that was? And he smiles. I'm like, yeah, that was a fun moment. That was a fun day. Like, yeah, we still do it. But what about celebrating failures and making kids feel like, not just kids, your team? What if you are a team and, man, you know what? Like, you haven't sold a car in a month or 2 weeks. But man, you're doing a great job, man. What's working? What's not working for you? What is working for you? How can we get better? Like, all we're doing, like, if you're if you are failing, let me make sure I get this clear, because this is now resonating with me. Because I'm thinking about my own kids, but it's always anything you're teaching your kids, you should be teaching your teams, because it's the same shit. You want your kids to behave a certain way, do certain things, achieve certain things, and have a mindset on certain things. Then that's the same thing that you would like for your team. I want my kids to fail and celebrate the failures and get out of their comfort zone. But when they fail, I want them to have an amazing effort. And I want them to have an amazing attitude, right? I don't want them failing with a crummy attitude and an I can't mentality and I'm not good enough mentality and so is better than me and I suck and why would I ever do this, and you fail. Like I like that would wear me out. I want my kids to say, I can, I will, I'm trying, this was amazing, I just messed up, I didn't do it right, but I'm going to get better. Like, boom. Did you try your best? Did you have a great attitude? Right? So I did this. We got our Summer 60 going on that I've mentioned, but we're also have kind of family value type things. And I just call them the Evjen family ABCs. ABCs. Attitude, body language, competitiveness, which is also / effort, right? I want them to compete at everything, which is effort to me. I want them to compete and have great effort. The ABCs of my family: attitude, body language, competitiveness. If you do that and fail, let's celebrate. Let's high five each other, because that is where your growth is. That is where your improvement is. That is where you can sit there and say, man, I couldn't do that a year ago. I couldn't do that. There is no way I could have done that a year ago, but I can do it now. And not only can I do it now, I kick ass at it now. So what's next? What's next? What's next? Now, there's also all this stuff probably, and initially what I was thinking was, this friend of mine, she said something great. And I've already said it, but she said this, and I really liked it. We spend so much time celebrating successes. We spend so much time saying, man, you did a great job. You hit 4 3-pointers, or you got these steal, or you played really hard defensively, like all that sort of stuff, right? So do you celebrate with your teams too much on the successes? And here's what maybe a great leader does. I haven't really thought about it this way until just now. That when there are failures, you as a leader professionally with your sales team, your software team, your clients, where you're a consultant and you're out working on teams and maybe things don't go well. Are you admonishing them? Are you sitting there telling them if they have the best attitude, the best body language, the best effort, they're competing for you? They have great attitude, great body language, like they're sitting there just doing everything they can to be great. But they mess up and they fail at a few things. Are you calling them out and admonishing for them for it and making them feel bad for it, or are you celebrating it with them? George, that's great. Like, yeah, we jacked it. Like, don't put it all on. Like, hey, we can do better at X, Y, and Z. And I think it's great that you did that, because now we're learning. Now you're getting better. It's okay. Like, that could have gone a lot better. That meeting, that software, like retrospective, that engagement, that sales call, that all could have gone a lot better. Let's just acknowledge that. But it was awesome, because I know your intent. I know your intent. I know your heart. I know your competitiveness. I know your attitude, and your body language is that of a champion. So kick ass. And I don't care if you fail again with those things, because I know the other side of this coin. I know where this is going. So initially what I was thinking with my friend was safety. Is it okay for your son? Is it okay for your salesperson? Is it okay for your software coach to fail? Do they feel safe in failing, or do they fear for their job, or do they fear for that they're going to get embarrassed, or do they feel that you're not going to be that proud of them? Right? My son has a folder that folds into thirds. So when you open it up all the way, there's three sections to it. And I'm really proud of him in this regard. The entire folder, written in pencil for a 10-year-old, was filled with goals and affirmations. It was like, I almost brought tears to my eyes. It was awesome. Like, treat my brother right, listen to my parents, work really hard this summer. I love basketball. I'm going to play in the NBA, like all this sort of stuff. I loved it, because he sees me doing this. He sees me reading these things. All the conversations we've had since he's been 1. It's like now it's in his DNA. But here's what he said: make dad proud of me. Right? And that hit me, because what that implies is he doesn't feel I'm proud of him now. He feels like he has to do something to make me proud of him, as opposed to my dad is always proud of me. right? So that's on me, right? And that's on me as a parent. It's on me as a leader, and it's on me with teams. It's on you as with your teams. Like, man, I'm proud of you. Yeah, I'm proud of, look at where you were. Look at who you've become. Look what you're crushing. Look what you're knocking out. Look who you're impacting. Look at the clients we have. Look at the sales that we've made. Man, I'm proud of you. Look at where we've come. And I'm super excited about who you are, what you've done. And I don't ever want you to feel like I'm not proud of you. Right? But I'm going to be, I struggle with it. Like, can you be more proud of your team? Can you be more proud of your kids? Like, I don't want my kid to feel like if I do X, Y, and Z, he's going to be more proud of me. I want him to feel like, man, that cup's already flowing, brother. You've got me. I'm all in. So I don't know the right word. If you know it, send me a message on our website or send us a message on LinkedIn, because I don't know, if my kid goes out this weekend and hits 9 3-pointers, is he more, am I more, now maybe the phrase is, yeah, I'm more proud of him. He's worked harder. To deserve that outcome, but it's like, yeah, I don't love him anymore. I'm always going to love him. That cup's always overflowing, right? And I know this, it's not just parenting, that's leadership. That's your team, right? Like, man, I'm always going to be like, maybe I'm going to get more proud of you maybe as you go along. I'm going to struggle kind of with that paradox a little bit, but it's also like, hey, man, I'm all in on you guys no matter what. Now it's getting it out of you. Now it's creating a safe environment. So when you fail, we celebrate the failure. Celebrate the failure and what that looks like, and get out of your comfort zone. So you can sit there and say, man, look how much better I got. Look how much better I got. And look who's with me, and look who's supporting me, and look who believed in me. Look who is with me that knows that I had it in me, and making that safe, going, shit, I don't care if you mess up. You're a 12-year-old kid playing basketball. Go mess up. Go try to be the best that you can be. Yeah, you're a 35-year-old salesperson. Cool. Let's get better. So when you're 40, you're the best salesperson in the Midwest. And it's okay to mess up here. Bam. I think that's good, man. So listen, 15 minutes, Saturday morning episode. I'm not sure who listens to podcasts on Saturday mornings. I have been told that it's people mowing their lawns. That seems to be my demographic. That the people that are mowing their lawns on Saturday morning listen to my podcast more. So enjoy your yard work. Get out of your cubicle and do this for me. Please go to www.outfromthecube.com and just get engaged with me. So subscribe, contact me, subscribe to our blog post. I'm going to try to actually be blogging more. I'm going to be putting video up. I'm really going to make this a great experience get the handouts. There's not much up there now, but that's my direction that I'm going. I'm super excited about outfromthecube.com. I'm super excited about the weekend. I'm super excited about failing, and I'm super excited about who I celebrate those failures with. Right? So knock it out of the park. Have a great weekend. And we'll have a Sunday episode tomorrow. It's the summer of 60, and I'm 8 days in, and I'm going to crush it and hammer it out. Have a great weekend. See you tomorrow.